Hello, you powerful people. In this video, you will learn how to read more books than you may have ever thought possible, and gain the knowledge and insight that comes along with all this reading. So, without further ado, welcome to my framework on how to read 52 books in a year. The framework. This framework is simple but effective. You find the 52 books that you want to read over the course of the year, and then you divide them by 365. This gives you your daily page goal. And if you hit your daily page goal every day, you're guaranteed to be able to read a book a week for a year. So, you powerful person, what gets measured gets achieved. And when it comes to goals like this, if you're not tracking, you're slacking. So, how are we going to track whether we've hit our daily page goal? I'd highly recommend having a physical calendar. And as you hit your goals, you fill in each day. One thing I'd recommend you don't do is if you read more, you start forward filling all your days. Because this might give you the excuse to go back and skip days, but you don't want to skip days because you really risk breaking the habit. So continuing on, just if you've done more, just be proud of yourself, but don't forward fill your days. But if you do miss days, make sure to go and backfill those. Does the framework work? I think so. So this is how many books I was able to read when I was just reading, when I felt really passionate about reading. It hit me, I was like, it's reading time. This was it. It wasn't planned, it was just books that I thought were cool or were recommended by friends. And this was the planned out discipline method that I talk about in the video. You can see significantly more books were read than when I didn't use any framework at all. And this is the kind of increase I guess you could expect from using the system versus not using the system. Think about, especially if you are a reader, how many books you're reading now, and think about how many you could be reading if you use the system. Walking on the treadmill. This is an effective tool in your toolkit in order to read 52 books in a year. If you're tired from work, this is going to re-energize you by getting you up and going. And also, it takes a bit of getting used to, but it's actually quite enjoyable reading while walking because you really feel like you're going somewhere. Now, for our next example, we're going to assume that a pound of fat is worth 3,500 calories and that all the weight you're going to be burning is fat weight. A 200-pound person walking at 2.5 miles an hour for 1 hour. They'll burn roughly 278 calories. This is one fast food hamburger's worth of calories or 2.5 apples worth of calories. If you do it every day for 1 year, you burn over 100,000 calories. This calorie total divided by 3,500 ends up being 28.99 pounds worth of fat burnt. This same 200-pound person, if walking on a 3-degree incline at 2.5 miles an hour for 1 hour, is going to burn roughly 377 calories. That's enough calories to burn off a fast food cheeseburger or 3.5 apples. Over the course of a year, you're going to burn over 130,000 calories. This, divided by 3,500, which is the amount of calories in a pound of fat, ends up being 39.31 pounds burnt. Nootropics, colloquially referred to as smart drugs. These increase cognitive performance and boost focus. And they range anywhere really from caffeine to alpha GPC to things like modafinil. The stronger the nootropic, the higher the side effect profile. Something like modafinil for 7 days is going to have a massive impact on you on the 8th day when you stop taking it, whereas caffeine's impact on the 8th day is going to be very minimal. I like nootropics, especially lion's mane mushroom. I find when I come home from work and I'm very tired, I take the lion's mane my focus is boosted for just long enough as to where the focus dips off before I want to go to bed. I take the lion's mane, I read the books, the book pages go up, I get closer to my goal. I like nootropics. I highly recommend the audience goes out and tries some nootropics also, find the one that's right for you, and then increase your productivity. Vision boards. If you don't have a vision board, I highly recommend you get one. What is a vision board? A vision board is generally a cork tile board with pins in it of pictures of you achieving your goals or the things that you want out of life. This is my vision board here, for example. It's got the physique I want, some of the goals that I want to achieve, as well as the place I want to live and the car that I want to drive. Now, if I wanted to hit my daily page goal, I would make that in artificial intelligence. I'm going to throw up some prompts which I use to make various pictures. I like the cartoonish style pictures because they simply look more appealing to my eyes. And I would stick it on my vision board because when you can see it, it really plays into your mind more. It lives more into your head. And it makes it more likely that you're going to achieve your goal. Asking yourself what you intend to gain. It's really an important question. What do you intend to gain from doing all this reading? Do you want to read amazing fiction? Do you want to learn one subject? Absolutely. Do you want to become an amazing public speaker? Do you want to learn the intricacies and outricacies of tattooing? What do you want? Because there's a big difference between doing productive reading and doing busy reading. What you may end up doing, which I ended up doing the first time I ever tried to just read more books without a system, is just picking books based on recommendation from other people and just doing loads and loads and loads of what I'm going to call busy reading. It's very unproductive. You're just trying to smash out pages for the sake of smashing out pages, rather than when I did this with the system, I went ahead and read books that were going to be very, very beneficial to me and my goals. And that's the question you want to ask yourself. Why am I selecting this book and is it productive reading? Now, for the worked example, I'm going to use books that I've read and recommend. And as I go through, I'm going to list the top 3 from each section. And I'm going to show all the books listed on screen. And I'm also going to list them in the description of the video. Now, I'm going to start off the list with some very short, very good books. There's 6 of these in total, but I'm going to list the top 3. The Stranger by Albert Camus, The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemmingway, and Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. Now, let's include every single book in Thomas Erkison's Surrounded by Idiots series. There's 7 of them out currently, and they're all very good. But here's the top 3. Surrounded by Narcissists, Surrounded by Psychopaths, and Surrounded by Idiots. Now, let's add 6 books on communication. The best are Winning Through Intimidation by Robert Ringer, The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy, and Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. If you're going to read anything, I highly recommend that you read Never Split the Difference. It's fantastic. 14 biographies, autobiographies, or memoirs. The 3 best are Poor Charlie's Almanac by Peter D. Kaufman and Charlie Munger, Into the Wild by John Carreyrou, and Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. Now, let's add another 6 books, but this time they're on advertising and marketing, and the best ones are Purple Cow by Seth Godin, On Advertising by David Ogilvy, and Confessions of an Advertising Man, again by David Ogilvy. Let's add 5 very good fiction books. The best are The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, and Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. Let's then go for 4 books on health and wellness. The best are Ageless Man by Georges Debleed, Ultra Processed People by Chris Van Tolkien, which is fantastic, and Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, which is also fantastic. We've got 4 wildcard books. I'm just going to go ahead and list all of them. Ancient Ink by Kartak and Detta Wolf, Wasted by Myra Hornbacher, Food of the Gods by Terence McKenna, and J.A. Hadfield's Dreams and Nightmares. We've now got our 52 books recommended and listed. So if you take these books and you add up all the page numbers, you get your total page count. And if you take the total page count and you divide that by 365, this being the amount of days in the year, you end up with your daily page goal. This is how many pages you would need to read in order to have read all the books within the year period. For us, with our recommended books, it ends up being 40.29. And if we round that up to 41, and we read 41 pages a day of the given books, we would read 52 books in a year and have completed our goal. You now are personally armed with a framework to read 52 books per year. I sincerely wish you luck on your quest. Send this to a friend if you think it will help them too. Thank you. Goodbye.